All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, session number one of HIIT SEO batch number 5. Who's excited? Just type in excited in the chat box if you guys are looking forward to get started with this amazing SEO journey. Fantastic. Loving the energy in the chat box. Keep it coming, keep it going. I want the same energy, 10x energy to be maintained throughout the session. Do we have a deal? Just type in deal in the chat box if you have a deal. Awesome. Fantastic. That's what I wanted to hear. That's what I wanted to see. Great. We have about 100 people who have joined in live, exact on the dot, 100 people. And let's just wait for 2 more minutes for people to join in. In the meantime, how about we understand how your previous session was? Did you get any clarity in terms of your niche? Have you managed to successfully register a domain name? And if you want to just real quick, tell me your niche now. I want very specific niche, okay? Like we spoke about the last time. I want you to be extremely specific. I want you to prove that you have gotten that clarity while doing this exercise last week, because it's very important that you do. Okay. Diet for weight loss among men and women aged 20 to 45, providing SEO services to young entrepreneurs migrating from India to Singapore. Wow, very specific. SEO services for child psychologists in Bangalore. Samir, and that sounds amazing. Bespoke menswear for professional men aged 24 to 40. Fantastic. There was his writing therapy. Sounds very interesting. If only you could have managed to specify who your target audience is. Secured streaming services for CA trainers. Wow, that sounds very interesting, Raj. Help Chinese cloud kitchens in Mumbai expand their business using SEO and content writing. Brilliant, Avinash. Content marketing for Indian e-commerce stores in the health and fitness niche. Fantastic. Money-making softwares for age range 20 to 40 years. Wow, where can I download this software? Clutch bags for women in India under 1,000 rupees. Insia, I think you got it like absolutely right. That's the kind of niche that I would like to see. South Indian bridal makeup, 20 to 35 in Tamil Nadu. Training SEO for MBA marketing students in Bangalore. Fantastic. Okay. Okay, I see a lot of SEO services. So I just like to, kind of like tell you guys, and it's very normal for me to see this in every single batch, but it's not a bad thing for you guys to come in here, learn SEO and become SEO professionals yourself and try to start about blogging about SEO and all. It's not necessarily bad, but I somehow feel that you might be limiting yourself by just doing that, right? So I want you to look at SEO as a skill, as a platform, as a medium, wherein you can superimpose another skill and put it out there into the world and attract people coming into your website, into whatever you're trying to provide, right? So that is a lot more powerful than just saying that, hey, I'm just providing SEO. So I mean, again, I'm not saying that it's wrong, but if you just like constrict yourself to only that, then it's going to be slightly difficult for you because let's be honest, you're just going to be competing with each other in this particular thing itself, right? Blog on generating revenue through SEO for physiotherapists who are running their clinics locally. That's good. See, so you're basically, again, you're trying to provide SEO services, but if you have a skill of yourself, if you have a product of yourself, if you have an offering of any sorts, I would like you to use SEO as a medium, as a skill on which you can superimpose and like put it out there to the world, right? Does that make sense, right? So Shanta says, female Mumbaikar students age 18 to 21 suffering from social anxiety disorder during pandemic lockdown. Beautiful, fantastic, right? Just type in MS in the chat box if what I just said makes sense to all of you, right? So again, I would like to reiterate, it's not necessarily a bad thing for you to become an SEO professional, but you are restricting yourself considerably if you're just saying that, hey, I'm just going to be another SEO person as well, right? So having said that, awesome stuff. I'm really, really happy to see such clarity in terms of the niche that you are writing right now. You guys see a difference in the way you are thinking about your niche last week and this week? Give me a quick yes or no in the chat box. You see the difference. And do you guys sense some sort of clarity and understanding as to like, okay, now this is my target audience. I want to go out there and solve this target audience's problems, right? I've been telling this from last week. I suppose that you're not becoming SEO professionals, you're being problem solvers. That's what you're trying to become, right? You're being problem solvers. And if you know who your target audience is, what their problems are, specifically, it becomes so much more easier for you to go at them and solve these problems for them, right? Fantastic. Brilliant. I think most of us are here. And I think fantastic to see all the amazing niches that you guys are operating in. I hope you guys, has everyone registered the domain name and sent it to us? I think most of you have. We have already set up your WordPress and all of those things. I'll be telling you exactly how to like do everything else after that in this session. And after this session, you will have your own digital asset. How many people here are creating a website, regardless of whether on WordPress or not, for the first time in your life? Okay, Hajira says she is doing it for the first time. So is Girish, Daud, Shefali, Radhika, Sanjeev, Arpita, Mitra, Rashi. Okay, fantastic. Ankita, Sumati, Suresh. How does it feel, guys? How does it feel for you to have a digital asset that is now connected to the internet and more importantly, connected to the entire world for you to go out there and solve people's problems, right? So if this is the first time, you're going to enjoy it a lot. You're going to be learning a lot more, not just about SEO, also about WordPress and all of those things that comes along with whatever you're learning. So this is not just an SEO program. You will also be learning a bunch of things in terms of WordPress and hosting and domain names and all of this, especially in today's session. So before I begin today's session, if you guys have any kind of questions that might pop into your head, number one, just be patient, okay? So it's very likely that once the entire session is over, everything is connected to each other. Your question will most likely get answered before you even think about having that question, right? That's number one. Number two, if you still have a question, if you still have a doubt, you can clarify it by putting in your question in the Q&A box and not in the chat box. Make sense? Because if you put it in the chat box, it's most definitely going to get lost in all of the chats that's going to come in, right? Any kind of questions you have, just put it in the Q&A box and not in the chat box. Once the session is over, I'll be more than happy to walk you guys through and help you clarify all the doubts that you might have regarding this session. Okay, it's 8:10 p.m. I think it's time for us to get started. Just type in start in the chat box and we'll get started with session number 1 of HIIT SEO. Brilliant. Now, before we begin, you guys have registered your domain name. Now, what do you think we have to do? Without looking at the slide deck, can anyone tell me what you should be doing to make sure hosting? Absolutely, hosting, right? Now, what is happening with the hosting is that what you have done is that, at least what I have done to you, is that I have rented out a space for you. Let's assume that you have bought that hosting, right? You have rented out a space on a computer which is connected to the internet. Everybody remembers this from the last session, right? You have gone ahead and brought this space on the internet on a separate computer. Now you have gone ahead and bought this domain name also, right? Now you have to make sure this hosting space that you've got on a computer and your domain name is connected to each other so that every time somebody types in your domain name, it is then getting connected to the hosting space where all of your website files are stored. Now, if you can remember from last session, I mentioned about how each of these computers have their own unique IP address, right? So obviously it's very difficult for you guys to like remember your IP address and more difficult for your users to remember your IP address. So what do? You connect your domain name to your IP address with something called as name servers. That is what a name server does, right? So name servers help connect URLs with the IP addresses of the web servers. Now, name servers are an important part of what is called as the domain name system, which many people call as the phone book of the internet. Like I spoke about in the last session also, exactly like how you guys when somebody gives you their phone number to you, what do? You first save their number and associate a name with it. So every time you want to call that person, you just click on their name and your phone basically connects that name to the phone number and dials that number so that you're able to make the call. Exactly like that, your domain name needs to be connected to your IP address, and that's what you will be learning how to do. So that is what name servers are. Are we clear on this? Pretty simple concept. I think we've already spoken about this in the last session as well. And now I'm going to jump into my GoDaddy account and show you guys how to actually set up, or rather update, your name servers on your GoDaddy account so that your domain name gets connected to the hosting that has already been set up for you. Okay, so I hope everyone has just like registered their domain name and GoDaddy and nothing else, because whatever I'll be showing right now will be on GoDaddy itself and not on any other platform. Okay, so let me just real quick jump into my browser. Everybody's able to see my browser. Real quick, just give me a quick yes or no in the chat box. Fantastic, right? So once you log into GoDaddy, this is what it look like. So you'll have this drop down here. Just click on My Products. And once you click on My Products, you'll see something like this. Obviously, you'll not be able to like see so many different domain names here. You'll probably have like just one domain name because this is the first time you're registering. You'll probably have only one website out there. So what you need to do is you'll have something like this. Click on these three dots here, and you'll have something called as Manage DNS. Just click on Manage DNS. And if you scroll down here, as you can see, it is currently using default name servers, right? GoDaddy would have updated with default name servers, which is actually not pointing anywhere except to its own servers, right? So what you need to do here is click on Change. And I will be giving you, no, I'll show it in another domain name, 1 second. Okay, let's go with this. Why is this not showing? Just when I want to like show it to you guys, it's always GoDaddy. This is why I have a love-hate relationship with GoDaddy, exactly for this reason. Okay, let me show it to you for my own website. Right, so as you can see here, you'll have something called as using custom name servers. Click on Change, right? And you will be able to have two options. You'll see two options here: GoDaddy name servers, recommended, not recommended in this case. And then you need to choose, I'll use my own name servers. You will get a bunch of name servers, which looks something like this. I'll be sending it to you on email. All you need to do is first you need to delete the name servers which are already there, right? You'll get this delete button over here. You just need to click the delete button and update the name servers that I will be providing on email. So you'll be getting an email with every single thing that we'll be speaking about in today's session tomorrow morning, including the recording of this session, slide deck, and everything like exactly like how we got it last week. So you'll also be getting your name servers, which you need to be coming here and updating here. And then once you do that, you click on Save. So once that happens, it'll prompt you like this. And all you need to say is, yes, I consent to update name servers for the selected domains, and click on Continue. That's it. Pretty simple, right? Just type in simple in the chat box if it was pretty simple, and I'll walk you through the whole thing all over again. So once you actually do this, it might take anywhere between 24 to 48 hours for the propagation to happen. Okay, so I'll walk you through the entire process again. Just click on My Products. You'll be able to see your domain names here. Click on Manage DNS. Scroll down and you'll be able to see your name servers here, and you should be able to see an update. Since I just updated the name servers, it won't give me that option again. It'll ask you to, it'll give you an option of update. Just click on update and replace your existing name server. First, delete the old name servers and then update. You will be getting two name servers, one as a backup, and all you need to do is go there, copy paste it, save, and then you're good to go, right? So after 24 hours, sometimes it happens much sooner. Sometimes some people, it completely depends on various factors. So don't worry about it. Be patient, guys. I saw in the WhatsApp group also that a lot of you guys are being a little impatient. I would like to tell you that don't worry about anything. We are always here. We'll help you out with anything that might happen. If something goes wrong, we are always here. You don't have to worry about it. All you need to do is be a little patient. So even after you are updated your name servers, the propagation might take about 24 to 48 hours. Usually it happens much sooner than that. Once it does, you will then be able to, once you click on your domain name, you'll then be able to get redirected to your entire website, right? Clear? Just type in CC in the chat box if you guys are crystal clear about what you just saw, right? So now you have, what you have done is you've basically connected your domain name to your hosting and made sure that every time somebody visits your website or types in your domain name in the browser, it gets connected to your hosting. But guess what? There is absolutely nothing on your hosting space, right? So you need to put things over there, put in your website files over there. And that's where WordPress comes into the picture, right? So what used to happen, say about 20 years ago, actually 18 years ago to be very precise, because in 2003 is when WordPress came into being. It spawned and said that, hey, you know what? We're going to solve a massive problem out there in the market. And what was the problem? The problem was that if you had to build a website, you had to code everything from scratch and actually go out there and deploy your website. Now, obviously, this was a huge barrier to entry to many, many people. And what WordPress said was, forget about coding and everything. We will do all the coding and give you a package, exactly like how you install softwares on your computer or apps on your mobile phone. WordPress said that, hey, I'll give you a package, I'll give you a software. Just go and install it on your hosting. Therefore, you'll then be able to interact and build your website without actually having to code. So that's exactly what WordPress did. And what WordPress is something called as a content management system. It allows you to interact with your website with relative or amazing ease, to be very honest, which is why WordPress is really, really famous, and it is powering 40% of all the websites in the entire World Wide Web, right? So if you had to like think about it in terms of an analogy, what has happened is, imagine you're building a house, right? So what you have done so far is that you have gone ahead and bought yourself a plot, and you have gone ahead and registered that plot in your name. Now, what WordPress is doing, it is giving you a basic structure, right? Now, obviously, do you think that you can go ahead and live in a house which just has bare minimum to it, like just basic structures to it? Obviously not, right? You need many, many things for it to become a home from a house. Exactly like that, you have something called as themes and plugins in the entire WordPress ecosystem. And this is probably one of the biggest reasons why WordPress is so famous today, because the entire ecosystem of themes and plugins that WordPress has is next to none and has enabled people to actually do many, many, many things out there. Now, what exactly are these themes and plugins? First of all, let's try to understand what themes are. Themes are like templates which improve the appearance and the functionality of your website, right? So think of WordPress as the foundation that was built. Now, themes, what it's doing, it's building all the walls and the paint and everything. Of course, you just can't have walls. You need to have fixtures. You need to have electrical fixtures. You need to have plumbing. You need to have a bunch of other things to make sure your entire house is functional. That is what plugins do. So plugins extend and enhance the functionality of WordPress, making it even more powerful than it is, right? So that's what a theme is. That's what a plugin is. Once you integrate your theme and your plugin, that's when you actually make your WordPress alive and functional and useful. Does that make sense? Just type in MS in the chat box if that makes sense, right? Again, going back to our analogy of having a plot, you have an empty plot, that's basically your hosting. You have registered that plot, that's basically your domain name. Now WordPress has come in and said that, hey, I'll just give you a basic structure of your house, and I have done that for you, right? So you don't have to do it. So ideally what you should be doing is going into your hosting and installing WordPress yourself, but we have gone ahead and done that for you, right? And then what has happened is that you will now be installing themes. Like I mentioned, as part of your bonus, you'll be getting Astra Pro as a bonus theme. And also you'll be installing a bunch of plugins to make the entire functionality of your website much more powerful and of course, much more useful to you as a WordPress admin. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to be showing you how to log in to your WordPress account and then like show you guys how to do it. Just give me 1 minute. Right? So what's going to happen is I'm going to be sending you a link to your login page. Basically, it'll look like this. Most of the times, it'll look like this. Okay. Let me show it to you like this. Right? So most of the times, it look like this. Your domain name /wplogin.php. Now, this is where you will be entering what a given username and password for you to be able to access the dashboard or the admin area of WordPress where you are able to control everything that your WordPress website does, right? I'll be giving you the URL where you can log in. I'll be giving your username and password also in the mail tomorrow. So don't worry about it at all. All you need to do is put in your username, password, click on login. And this is how your actually, this is not how your WordPress dashboard might look like because there are certain plugins already installed on this. But anyway, something like this is how your WordPress dashboard is going to look like, right? As you can see here, you have a bunch of different navigations here, and you'll be able to like do a bunch of different things here as part of your WordPress website, right? This is how you basically control and do everything that you need to be doing on WordPress. Along the course of 10 weeks, you'll also be learning how to install a bunch of other plugins also. I'll be giving you all of those plugins that I've promised to give you as part of your bonuses along the way. And I'll be showing you how to install it and how to activate it and all of those things. For now, in today's session, we'll be installing one theme and two plugins. Now, the theme is basically Astra Pro, right? What you need to do is basically click on Appearance and click on Add New. And you'll be able to see a bunch of different available themes here, right? These are all default themes that are available in the market for you, right? So obviously, due to various reasons, I would not recommend that you go ahead and install any of these themes. What I would recommend, the reason why I'm recommending you Astra Pro theme is because your theme also determines how quickly and fast your website is actually loading, which has a direct impact on your SEO rankings, which is also the reason why I'm giving you guys this theme free of cost. It is an amazing theme. I personally use it too for my own website, and I strongly recommend everyone else who out there to go out there and actually use it, right? So you'll be getting this Astra Pro theme free of cost. All you need to do is go ahead and install it, right? So I'll be giving you two files. The first file will be an Astra Pro theme file, and I'll show you how it looks like. So all you need to do is click on Upload Theme, click on Choose File. Right? You'll get a theme file like this, which looks astra1.zip, right? Do not unzip the file exactly like how it is. Upload the zip file itself onto WordPress and click on Install Now. I repeat, do not unzip the file. Download the zip file as you get it in the email, and exactly like how you have downloaded, upload it like I just showed you guys. Okay, just choose file, choose where the file has been downloaded, and like click on Install Now, and it will go ahead and install your theme, right? So it'll tell you, okay, unpacking the package, install theme installed successfully, right? Once this happens, it's installed, but what you need to do is you need to click on activate. Chandra, you can just like zoom in on your phone or wherever you're accessing it from. Better now? Anyway, so now once it is installed, you'll be able to see that active. Your Astra Pro theme is active. In fact, sorry about that, scratch that. This is your Astra default theme. I'll show you how to activate the pro version of this theme also, okay? Are we all clear until this point? Type in CC in the chat box if everyone is clear up until this point. Fantastic, thank you so much. Right? So once that happens, you've installed the theme. Now this is the basic version of the theme, but you guys are getting the pro version of the theme. Now to activate the pro version of your theme, you need to install another plugin. So how do you install a plugin? Exactly like how you install a theme, you need to be installing a plugin also. To do that, you need to click on plugins here, right? Plugins here and click on add new. And again, exactly like how you uploaded a theme, click on upload plugin. Now, click on choose file. Right. So once you click on that, you will be having a file like this, Astra add-on plugin 2.6.3.zip. Okay. Once that has been uploaded, click on install now. You'll do the same thing that I did for the theme itself. Plugin installed successfully. What do you need to do here? Activate the plugin. Okay. Click on activate the plugin. Now, once you get this, once you have clicked on activate the plugin, it'll actually ask you to activate. Please activate your copy of Astra Pro to get update notifications, access to support features, and other resources. Right. So what you need to do is either click on here, or if you hover over appearance, you will get a new option called as Astra options. So click on that, or you can just click on activate here also. And here you'll be able to see a form wherein you need to be putting in your license key. As part of the email, I'll be giving you a 15-digit alphanumerical license key, which you need to copy paste here and click on activate license. Okay, let me stop sharing the screen for 1 second, and I'll see if I can find the right? So it looks something like this. Once you do that, click on activate license and boom, your license has been successfully validated, right? Once you get that, you'll be able to see a bunch of different options that you get here. So available Astra Pro modules, you can click on activate all here if you want to. You'll be able to like do bunch of different things with the theme itself to make it look a certain way. You can upload your logo, you can customize your fonts, how your header options looks like, footer settings, set colors, layout options. I would strongly recommend you guys to like try all of these things out if you want to. If you don't want to, you want to keep it as basic as possible, that's also completely okay, right? Even the basic version or basic layout of Astra is very clean, very nice to look at, and it like, it does the job, so to speak, right? If you want to go ahead and experiment with all of these things, feel free to do that. Don't worry about it at all. Okay. So before you do that, if you want to revert to your old this thing, please make sure you attend this week's Q&A session, wherein Shreyas will be teaching you guys how to create a backup of your WordPress website. So if in case anything goes wrong, you can always revert back to that particular version of your WordPress, right? So this is how you guys actually upload a theme, and in this case Astra Pro, and make it a pro version of your theme by validating your license, and that's how you do it. Clear? Pretty simple, pretty straightforward, right? Let me know in the chat box. Right? So if you have not done this before, and which seems to be the case for many, many people here, right? So you might feel a little overwhelmed at this point of time, but once you actually log into your WordPress and basically follow the steps that I've told you to follow, you'll then be like, okay, this is like much more easier than I thought it was, right? So that's why I'm telling you, don't worry about it. So once you start doing it, that's when you'll know. So since most of you guys might have not done this or interacted with your WordPress dashboard and all of those things, you might be like, oh my God, what if I'm not able to do it? Right? So that thought might be crossing your mind. How many people is that thought is crossing? How many people's mind here? Okay, great. Shanta says that it's crossing. Anamika also. Okay, fantastic. Who else? Debanjali, Mitra, Manish, Hajira. Don't worry about it, guys. Okay, don't worry about it at all. Just follow the steps that I've showed you how to do it. And then if you just follow these steps, this is your learning process. This is a very important element of your learning process as well. And once you're comfortable with WordPress, if you do it once, right, what you're going through right now is the fear of the unknown. How many guys agree with that? Just type in A in the chat box if you guys agree with that. Right? What you're feeling right now is the fear of the unknown. Since you guys have never done this before, it's like going to your swimming pool and like just jumping into the water, right? You never, especially if you don't know how to swim, right? Initially, you'll be like, oh my God, what if I drown and all of those things? But it won't happen. Don't worry about it, right? Even if something goes wrong, we're always there. And so far, nothing has happened. And like I said, once you do it, you'll be like, oh, wow, this is so much more easier than I thought. And eventually, you'll become so comfortable with WordPress by the end of 10 weeks you would have learned 2 skills, not just SEO, but also how to do things on WordPress. How amazing is that? Just type in amazing if you're excited to learn a bunch of different things about WordPress as well, apart from learning about a bunch of different things in terms of SEO, right? So once you do all of these things, then is when you will be able to actually start your SEO journey, right? So that's what you'll be like doing. So this is where we are actually starting our SEO journey. Up until this point, you are actually setting the foundation. You are making sure you're equipped to get started with your SEO journey, right? So before we get started with our SEO journey, there's a very important thing that we need to address at this point of time, right? What is SEO in the first place? Now, SEO or search engine optimization is the process of optimizing your website for relevance and increasing its authority by solving user queries. If you have paid attention to whatever I've been saying for the past 2 weeks, you will be able to correctly identify the most important part of this definition. Can you guys take a guess what it is? Search engine optimization is the process of optimizing your website for relevance and increasing its authority by solving user queries. What do you think is the most important part of this entire definition? Ish, just look at the definition here. This part of this definition, what is the most important and significant? Some of you are getting it right. Solving user queries, right? Solving user queries is what you will be doing. You are not trying to become an SEO professional. You are trying to become an expert problem solver. Just type in PS in the chat box if it has gone deep into you, right? So apart from like teaching you this new skill, I want to bring in that mindset change also before you go get started with this SEO journey, right? Or what you're doing is you're solving user queries. You're solving people's problems. In fact, if you ask me very honestly, I hate the term SEO, right? Anurag got it right. I hate the term SEO because it's very misleading. It kind of paints the wrong picture. It makes you feel like what you're doing is trying to like optimize your website for the search engine. That's not what you're doing. What you're optimizing for is actually the users. In fact, if I could do anything about it, I would rename SEO to UXO, user experience optimization, because that's exactly what you're doing here. You are optimizing the experience of the users by helping them solve problems, by giving them the right information and making their lives better, right? So that's what you're doing. You are improving their user experience because let's be very honest here, okay? Google is not a content creator. Google is not a problem solver. Google is just the middleman here, right? So what does Google want? Google wants users. What do you want? You want users too, right? So what Google is saying is that, hey, if there is someone out there who can successfully go out there and get me users and make them keep coming back, Google is going to benefit from it, right? So what Google also wants is for you to provide an amazing experience to your users, which are also Google's users, right? So if you try to optimize it for just Google or any other search engine for that matter, you are actually losing out on the users itself. Always remember, people have credit cards, not search engines. Okay, never optimize just for the search engines. Of course, you'll be doing a lot of things to make sure, Google, you're signaling to Google that, hey, you know what, I can actually do a good job in solving this person's query. I can do a great job at solving this person's problem. You're sending these signals to Google, but your focus is on the users. Got it? Just type in UXO in the chat box if that makes sense, right? What you're doing is improving your user's experience, right? Now that is out of the way, now let's try to understand. Now let's try to understand how search engines work in the first place. For you to understand how to do SEO, you first need to understand how search engines work. I have simplified the entire process of how search engines work and divided into three major stages. Okay. Stage number one is crawling. What happens in the crawling process or the crawling stage? It's a discovery process in which search engines send out a team of what are called as robots or spiders or crawlers. These are nothing but programs. These are nothing but softwares. What they do is they go out there and spread across the entire internet, the entire world wide web. They basically go crawling. That's why they're called crawlers, right? They keep following every link that is possibly found on the internet to find new and updated content every single day, every single hour, every single minute. They're very, very hardworking people, right? Or hardworking programs. They go out there and try to find new and updated content every single day, every single hour, every single minute, or every single second also for that matter. Now, once they have found this new information or new and updated content, what it does, the second stage is indexing. Now, Google then tries to understand what the page or the content is about and goes on to store and organize the content during indexing. Now, after that is when the ranking stage comes into the picture, wherein when a user types a query, Google tries to find the most relevant answer from its index based on several factors and ranks your page. So crawling, indexing, and ranking. Many people make the mistake of thinking that only ranking, only that stage is part of SEO and completely forget about the crawling and indexing part, right? So very, very important. First, what Google does is that they go out, they send out these crawlers, robots, spiders, you can call them whatever you want. They're all the same thing. They're basically programs which go out there on the internet to find new information, right? Once they found new and updated information, they come back and based on what the page is about, they go ahead and organize this content, right? Once that happens, when anybody types in a search query into the Google search bar, Google then tries to find the most relevant and credible piece of information or piece of content, and therefore that's how it goes ahead and ranks your content, right? Three simple steps. Step in 3 in the chat box if that makes sense to you guys. Right? So let's try to understand each of these stages a little more deeply so that you have a very clear understanding of what exactly is happening, right? So when it comes to crawling, it is your job, it is your responsibility, it is your duty to ensure that your website is crawlable. Okay, you will be learning more about all of these things in session number 4. So don't worry about it. This is basically like a primer, a foundation for all of you guys. All you need to do is just absorb in this session. Okay, so it is your job to ensure that your website is crawlable. How do you do this? You do this with proper site structure, site maps, and navigation. So the easier it is to discover you, the easier it will be for you to rank your content on the search engines. If Google cannot discover your content itself, how can it go ahead and rank your content, right? Does that make sense? Type in MS in the chat box if that makes sense. If Google is not able to find and discover your content itself, how can it go out there and actually rank your content, right? So it is your job to make sure it is very easy for these crawlers and spiders to first find your content in the first place. And the way you do that is by using proper site structure, site maps, and navigation. You'll be learning all of these things in session number 4. So don't worry about it, right? Once that happens, we come into indexing. Now, Google's index or database is called Caffeine. And now what you need to remember is just because your site can be crawled doesn't necessarily mean it will be indexed. Okay, just because it has been crawled doesn't necessarily mean that it will be indexed. Now, the reason why this might happen is maybe Google did not understand what your content is about, which is why Google is not able to store your content in the first place, right? So you have to make sure your website is also being indexed or being taken into consideration into the database of Google, right? To check, how do you check it? To check whether your site has been indexed, you use something called as a search operator, and you go to Google and type it in something like this: site : whatever your domain name is, .com, .in, you just put it in. And then if you get any kind of results, it means that your website is part of the database or the index. I'll give you a very simple analogy for you guys to understand this entire process, okay? Think about how a librarian would work, right? So what would a librarian do? They would first go out there into the market and collect a bunch of different books, right? They'll collect a bunch of different books. They'll come back to the library. Once they come back to the library, they're going to organize these books based on different genres, right? Fiction, non-fiction, history, art, children's books, and all of these things. And they go ahead and organize all of these things out there into this thing. Now, you might go to the librarian and then say that, hey, can you please recommend me a very good fiction book for my kid? So now you know, the librarian knows who it is for. So based on their requirement, then the librarian will go and say that, hey, you know what? If you go there, you'll find this book, which I believe is a great book for your kid. Exactly like that, Google is also behaving like how a librarian would, but in a much more complex and complicated manner. They first go out, they try to crawl on different websites, different content, come back, organize it in their index called as caffeine. And then, so again, now just because this librarian bought a bunch of books, it's not necessary they'll actually store it in the library wherever it needs to be going, right? They might be like, they might come back to the library and say that, you know what, this book is not that great. I don't even know why I bought it. Maybe it was part of a bundle. I just like got it. I don't want to keep it here. Maybe I'll just like give it away at some point of time, right? So they might not keep it exactly like that. Your website also might not be as relevant, or Google might not even understand what this book is about. So they're not going to like keep it at all. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Right? The librarian analogy, exactly like the whole librarian analogy, that is how your Google also works, or any search engine for that matter. Right? After that is when the ranking kicks in. After crawling, indexing, ranking, right? So now the list of results, every time you go and type something into Google, the list of results displayed are called as SERPs, right? You will hear this word being thrown around in the whole SEO world a lot of times. Now, what does SERP stand for? Search engine result pages, or in other words, your organic results, right? So once you type in a query, you'll have number one website, 2, 3, 4, all the way to 10 across 10 different pages, right? So these are called SERPs. Now, how does Google decide which website to come on top, which website to come on second, third, fourth, and so on, right? Now, Google uses more than 200 different signals and parameters based on which Google actually decides whether or not to rank your website and where to rank in that given hierarchy, right? Now, the Google obviously is not going to be very transparent about all of these signals, but they've done a pretty decent job of giving us some information that, hey, you know what, these are the different parameters based on which we decide, number one, whether or not to rank your website, and if we are ranking, where you stay in this pecking order, right? The factors on which, now, obviously, these 200 different factors has been decided or understood by different SEO professionals based on a lot of trial and error. But for you to easily understand what these ranking factors are, I have gone ahead and broadly divided them into 3 different buckets: relevance, authority, and user signals, right? These are the 3 different buckets of signals or parameters based on which Google decides whether or not to rank your website. Now, so this is exactly the order in which it goes also, so to speak, but it definitely helps you understand better if you go in this order, right? First thing is relevance. How relevant is your page or content to the search query of the user, right? How relevant is it? Is whatever the user is looking for, is your website relevant, or the content that you've created, is it relevant to the whatever search query that people are looking for? That's number one. Number two, just because you have made it relevant to the search query doesn't necessarily mean that your website or content is the only relevant website out there, right? So what Google then does is, among all the relevant results, how authoritative and credible is your page/content? After that, how are users engaging with your page or content? Remember, we spoke about user experience. So that is your user signals. RAU, relevance, authority, and user signals. Just type in RAU in the chat box if that makes sense to you guys. Okay, so just remember RAU, and you'll be able to like understand how Google actually uses different ranking signals, 200 different factors. Okay, so if you had to bucket all of these different ranking factors into three simple buckets, this is how it would look. Relevancy, how relevant is your page or content to the search query, how authoritative and credible the information that you're providing is, and how are users reacting to the information that you have provided as part of your website, as part of your content, right? How's it going so far in terms of session one for you guys? Are you guys learning something new? Are you guys like discovering new things? Brilliant. How many people remember your chemistry class? How many people hated your chemistry class? Okay, Shanta definitely hated. You know, I'm asking you because do you guys remember the periodic table in your chemistry class? How many people remember the periodic table? Right? So the periodic table allowed you to understand the different elements which we interact with, right? Exactly like that, a website called a Search Engine Land has created a periodic table of all the SEO ranking factors, which looks something like this. I am obviously not going to like ask you to go ahead and remember all of these signals and all of those things, but this is for you to understand how all of these factors actually influence your rankings, right? So if you look at this, so the first thing here, I'll first show you what it is. So this first section is everything that is to do with content. And this small number that you see here is the weightage of each of these signals, okay? So first, you see the quality of your content, the keywords, how it is able to answer, and the depth of your content, the keyword that you're targeting, and the freshness of your content, and the multimedia as well. Okay, it's fine. So then you have architecture. In architecture, yeah, I think I'll zoom out a little bit. Yeah, much better now. Right? So then you have site architecture or site structure, which we'll be discussing about in session number 5. Don't worry about it at all. How easily is your website how easy it is for the crawlers to crawl your website? Is it mobile first? What is the structure in which you're actually creating it? Your parity or the sync between your mobile website and your desktop website, URLs, duplicate content, the speed of your website, whether it has HTTP or HTTPS, and then you have HTML, which is basically on page where you'll be learning about title tags, schema, headings, content shift. This is part of the session number 6 again, descriptions, image alt tags, and reputation, expertise, authority, and trust. I told you, right? Authority is also very, very important. Just remember EAT, EAT, right? Expertise, authority, and reputation. Links, the quality of the links that you're getting, the anchor text, the quality, the quantity of the links that you'll be getting also. Again, you'll be learning this in session number 7. And then I spoke about user experience, right? So user experience itself, the intent of your users, the locality of your user, the country that they're doing, and how well are they engaging. Then you have toxins, which basically are negative signals in terms of your rankings. Malicious behavior, if you're trying to like hack into their website, hack into their computer and all of these things, any kind of stuffing, if you stuff your content with lot of keywords just to go out there and rank and improve your relevancy itself. And if you're hiding anything, piracy and intrusiveness in terms of like pop-ups and all of these things. Then you have niches here, which is basically local SEO. This is the first column is local SEO, which you'll be learning in session number 8. So your Google My Business profile, your locations, your citations, something called as NAP, and the number of reviews. This is for news publishing websites, and this is for e-commerce websites. So if you just look at this periodic table of SEO ranking factors, you'll have a much clearer understanding of how all of these factors actually work, right? So if you find this too difficult, now again, I'm not going to like be asking you questions and all of this based on this. This is purely in terms of helping you understand how all of these things work in tandem, right? So if for this entire 10 weeks, all you need to be doing is remembering RAU, right? But this is pretty cool. Wouldn't you guys agree? It's very nice to understand what are the different factors and the weightage of these factors also, and like how do you like actually segregate all of these kind of things, right? So it's just for your information, just for you guys to like actually understand what are the different factors, and it makes it pretty simple and it's pretty deep also, right? So having said that, there again, as you might notice, it doesn't actually constitute all the 200 different ranking factors here. They basically mentioned only the most important ones, but there are many more factors here, and there are different ways, different instances where these parameters might actually be seen. There is you can't see this live and on there, unfortunately, right? Are we all clear up until this point? Just type in CC in the chat box if everyone is clear up until this point. CC, not CC. CC for crystal clear. Yes. Okay. Fantastic. Ashita, I'll check the Q&A after this session is over. Okay. I'm sure everyone here would understand that we would not want to lose our flow. And if I actually start to help you guys, I mean, answer all of your questions that you have, we lose the flow. We lose the flow in terms of understanding all of these concepts also. Would you guys agree with that? Just type in A in the chat box. If we keep the Q&A to the end of every session from here. Okay. So this is in the interest of keeping the flow and making sure you understand the concept. Because like I said, everything is connected to each other. Once you like understand holistically what we're talking about, then you will be in a much better place for you to understand. Okay. Fantastic. Now, how do you know Google is actually, how does Google view your website or view your content or interact with your website? So Google is kind of a nice guy also at the end of the day. So what it has gone ahead and done, it has gone ahead and given us something called as Google Search Console, or GSC for short. Now, Google Search Console is an official portal through which you can control, manage, and troubleshoot your site's presence and performance in Google search results, right? So it has gone ahead and created this portal through which you can actually see how your website is performing in the search engine results. Okay. Now, why should you be using Search Console in the first place? It's very important that you know how to set it up. I'll be showing you guys how to set it up, and why should we be even setting it up in the first place. Number one reason, it is a communication channel. It is a communication channel between Google and your website. Okay. If anything wrong is happening with your website, if anything good is happening with your website, whatever it is the case, Google will use the Search Console to actually communicate with you. Okay. Second thing, it is your command center for your website in terms of your search engine performance. Okay. It is your command center in terms of your search engine performance. You'll be able to do a bunch of different things in your Google Search Console. And also, it'll be your performance dashboard. You will be able to actually see how your website is performing in the search results, how many impressions it's got, how many clicks it's got, all of these kind of things, and what are the different queries for which your website is being triggered, right? Like I said, it holds a lot of important data and insights. Before we actually get into how Google Search Console looks like, we first need to install it or connect your website to Google Search Console. And I'll show you a very simple way to do that. Okay. So let me jump into the browser again. Right. Again, we are back to the WordPress dashboard. And here, what we'll be doing is going ahead and installing a plugin. This is the official plugin from Google for WordPress. Okay. So what you need to do is click on plugins again. Now I'll show you another way to install plugins also. Right. Once you're here, click on add new. Okay. And you'll have the search bar here to your right hand side. Just type in site kit. Okay. As you can see, Site Kit by Google, Analytics, Search Console, AdSense, and Speed, and a bunch of different things. So this is an official plugin developed by Google itself so that it becomes so much more easier for you to actually connect different Google services that are available for you as part of your SEO journey. Very simple to do. All you need to do is click on install now. Right? It'll take a minute or two to actually go out there and install. Once installed, like always, what you need to do is click on activate. Okay. Now what it says is, congratulations, the sitekit is now activated, and go to dashboard. What I'm going to do is I'll first disconnect it so that I can actually show you guys how to actually go out there and connect your sitekit as well. Okay. So now let's say set up with sitekit, you will get this particular window once you've installed sitekit. And all you need to do is click on sign in with Google. All you need is a Gmail account. Any Gmail account works. So all you need is a Gmail account. Click on sign in with Google. And just so then you'll say, welcome to sitekit. Let's get it set up. So what is this plugin trying to do here is it's trying to verify that this site actually belongs to you, right? That's all that is doing. So once it is verified that this site belongs to you, then it will be activated and you will be able to actually see the search console and everything, right? So click on sign in with Google, right? You can use any of these things. I'm going to use one of my emails, right? Continue. Right? You're a verified owner. Allow your website to access Google account data. Just click on allow. And boom, congratulations, you have successfully set up sitekit. Go to my dashboard. Right? Now it will say that Search Console has been connected. It'll take a while for all of this, data to actually show up. Now, Search Console has been activated on your website. I'll show you guys how to actually go out there and how Search Console would look like on a live website so that you guys know what are the different kinds of information that you guys can have access to. So I'm showing you one of our clients' website so that you guys have a clearer understanding of how this looks like. Right. First of all, in the overview section, you'll be able to see the performance of your website. Right. You'll be able to see how many clicks it's got, and what is the coverage it's got, and what the experience is like, and a bunch of different things, right? So if you click on search results, you'll then be able to see what are the number of impressions and the number of total clicks, and you can change the date here and all of these kind of things here as well, right? So how many people would like to see a graph like this in your search console by the end of 10 weeks? Just type in me in the chat box if you guys are interested to see results like this, right? So if you scroll down, you'll be also be able to see all the different queries that your website is getting and the impressions that this particular query has, and then the number of clicks this particular query is driving to your website. You'll also see in terms of the pages itself, what are the different pages that are driving the different kind of impressions and all of this kind of things, right? So let me take this just for future reference. You'll also be able to see the countries from which you're getting all this traffic from and the devices that it's getting from and a bunch of different, all of this different data, right? So if you click on coverage, so you'll be able to see how well is your website set up, how many, if you have any errors, if you have any warnings, how many valid URLs are there, how many excluded URLs are there, all of these things. This is just for your information right now. We'll be learning more about it in the future sessions. Just absorb right now. Just type in absorb in the chat box if all you're doing right now is just absorbing. Okay. So you'll be able to see a bunch of different details here. I'll be showing you guys how to set this up, how to do everything that is, all these things set up. But this just to show you guys how Search Console would actually look like on a live website. Now, very important thing, you can also make sure that you let Google know that, hey, my website is ready. Can you please go out there and index it? Now, how do you do that? You click on URL inspection and it will highlight this particular search bar here. So I'm going to like put in a URL here and click on enter. So it'll actually go out there and see retrieving data from the index, right? So here you'll be able to see in your case, since it's your new website, it'll say that, hey, URL is on Google. In your case, since your website is brand new, it'll say that URL is not on Google. It has not been covered and all of those kind of things. So what do? You click on request indexing. So all you need to do is go out there, put in your domain name on this search bar. And once you get this option here, you click on request indexing. as the name suggests, pretty self-explanatory. What you're doing here is requesting Google that, hey, can you please make my website as part of your database, as part of your index? Remember, we spoke about the database called as Caffeine. So that's exactly what you're trying to do here, right? So this is what you do. This is how you actually ensure using the Search Console that you're getting your website as part of a particular index. Make sense? Pretty easy, pretty simple. Now we know how to actually install SiteKit and actually use Search Console. For you to come into Search Console, you need to be coming to search.google.com/Search Console. You'll be able to access it from within here also once all of these things come up here. So don't worry about it at all. Okay, so once it's there, you'll be able to see all the data here also. But if you want more in-depth information, data, insights, you need to come to the Search Console website itself, wherein you'll be able to see all of this data. Okay, like I said, this is your communication channel. This is your command center. This is your performance dashboard. You'll be able to see a bunch of different things here. How cool is this? Step in cool in the chat box if you thought that this is pretty cool. Just give me a minute. Can you please slow down your rate of speech? Really? Do you think I speak too fast? Let me know, guys, if I'm speaking too fast. I don't think I speak too fast. You'll get used to me. Don't worry about it. Don't worry, guys. You'll be also getting the recording. You can actually slow down the speed at which I speak if you want to. Okay, so don't worry about it at all. Okay, so I'm trying to be as slow as possible, as clear as possible. So I hope you guys are like okay with that. So don't worry about it. Again, like I said, you just at this point of time, you guys are just overwhelmed, which is why you might be like thinking that okay, he's going too fast, it's talking too soon, and all of those things. You'll get used to it by next session. Okay. Great, fantastic. Now that you have, managed to set up Search Console, there is one more thing that you need to be actually setting up, which is basically Google Analytics, right? So what Google Analytics does is it's a free service offered by Google again that tracks and reports website traffic. Now, what Google Search Console was doing was it was actually giving you data in terms of your performance of your website on the search engines. Google Analytics, on the other hand, will actually give you data and insights in terms of how are users behaving on your website. Okay, that is the main difference between Search Console and Google Analytics. You need to make sure that you have added and connected both Google Analytics as well as Google Search Console. Now, why use Google Analytics? Let's try to understand what are the different reasons for which you should actually be using Google Analytics. Like I said, number one, it shows and reports your organic traffic. You'll obviously get this data from Search Console as well. But what if there is traffic coming from other sources apart from Search Console? You'll be able to get this data from Google Analytics as well. So Search Console data that you see, GSC, let's call it GSC, Google Search Console, what I just showed you guys, the data that you see there is basically only the data or the traffic coming from the search engines alone. So obviously, if you have a website, you might most definitely will be getting data. You'll be getting traffic from other sources as well. Like say, for example, social media, email, bunch of different things, right? So what Google Analytics does and shows is traffic and data and insights from all of these sources. It also shows you all the important pages on your website in terms of how much traffic each of your page is getting. And it shows something called as bounce rate. So what is bounce rate? If somebody comes and visits your website, either bounces back to the search results or returns to the search results without spending more than prescribed amount of time, say for example 30 seconds, or they visit only one page on your website and go back to the search results. That is what a bounce is, right? It basically shows you your bounce rate, and it also shows you how much time are your users spending on each page. It also shows how many pages is each user spending for every time they come onto your website, right? So can you guys guess right now what exactly is this trying to tell us in terms of the ranking factors that we spoke about? Some part of this, how many people remember the ranking factors, the buckets in which we actually put in? User experience? Yes. User signals and user experience. These are all important parameters and insights in terms of helping you understand how are users actually behaving on your website. So there are other tools also we'll be using, but Google Analytics is a great way to understand user behavior, or how is your user experiencing your website. Now, when you say user experience, it's a very subjective term, right? So it is very difficult to actually quantify or say that what do you mean a good user experience, or what do you mean a bad user experience, right? So what Google Analytics here is you will be able to do to some extent is to quantify or objectively understand what is good and what is bad, right? So I'll show you guys how Google Analytics looks like. First, I'll show you guys how to set it up using the same plugin Sitekit from Google, and then we'll take it from there. Right? So this is how your sitekit would look like. We have already connected Search Console. What we need to do right now is connect your Google Analytics as well. So all you need to do is click on Connect Service. It'll ask you to do the same thing that we did it so far. Click on Continue. Since the whole sitekit has been set up, it's much more easier to do this, right? Set up a new account. In this case, you can just say, okay, what is your account name, your property name, and all website data. Click on Create Account. It'll ask you to do this whole thing again. Continue. Sorry, I needed to check the boxes that was available. Walk you through the whole thing again. Don't worry about it. Right? Click on set up a new account, and it'll automatically populate all of these things. If you want to change the names here, you can, and then click on create account. It'll ask you to choose your email ID. Give this permission, select what sitekit can access. Click on continue. And it'll ask you to read the terms of service, which I don't think anybody does, but you have to scroll down and then click on I accept, and then I accept again, and boom, success. Your analytics account was successfully created. Go to my dashboard. Right? This is how you connect both your search console and analytics, right? Pretty simple, right? Type in simple in the chat box if that was simple. All you need to do is just like select a few things and just like keep clicking on continue and allow and all of those kind of things, right? So if you follow all the instruction that I just showed you guys, extremely simple, right? As long as you follow the instruction that I just showed you guys, you'll be able to do it very, very easily. Okay, don't worry about it at all. I'll show you guys how analytics looks like. So your Google Analytics home looks something like this, and you'll be able to see different kinds of channels and all of these things. Again, you don't have to actually remember all of these things. I'm just showing you guys how it looks like, right? And Indrani, by the way, you don't have to remember the steps as well. So I'll be giving you guys the recording, As long as you follow the step-by-step instructions, keep pausing if you want to, then keep following whatever I'm doing on the screen, you're absolutely good to go. So don't worry about it at all. Okay. So you will have all the different channels here. As you can see, organic search, direct, referral, and all of these things. So you'll be able to see a bunch of different data on analytics. So I don't want to get into all of these things right now, because what is going to happen, 100% guaranteed, is you'll get very, very overwhelmed. Okay. So this is there so that you are able to collect data in the future, or whenever since you're starting off your SEO journey. These are all the things that needs to be in place before you actually get started with your SEO journey, right? Make sense? Just type in "make sense" in the chat box. And if everyone here is on the same page, just type in SP in the chat box if you're on the same page. So one more really cool thing I'll be showing you guys is another service from Google, very simple to do. And we will be using something called as Google Alerts. Now, again, this is not like absolutely necessary to do, but it's a good thing to do, a good to have kind of thing. So what you'll be doing is, has anybody used Google Alerts here in the past? Just let me know. Okay, so what Google Alert does, I'll show you guys how it is so that you'll actually understand it much better. Right, so this is how Google Alerts looks like, right? What I want you to do right now is create a Google Alert for your own website. So every time either your website is mentioned anywhere on the internet or your page has been indexed, Google will actually send you an alert to your email saying that, hey, this is what has happened. How amazing is that, that you'll be using a completely unrelated Google service to let you know of anything that is happening off your website anywhere on the internet, right? Anywhere it has been mentioned or whatever it is, right? So I'll show you guys how to do that. So say, for example, I want to create an alert for my SaaS product review website. So what I'm going to do is put in this and then click on show options, right? So it'll ask you how often do you want the alerts to be sent. So what I'll say is as it happens. So every time Google actually finds out. So what is actually happening here is during this entire crawling process that we spoke about, if Google actually comes across your website, it will then send you basically a ping to your email saying that, hey, we actually came across something here. So you might want to check it out. So that's what's happening. So you can choose your sources also. Just keep it automatic. You don't have to change anything here. Oops. Keep it automatic. Language, if you want it to be a specific region, you can do that also. I'll just keep it any region. Only the best results or all results, choose all results, deliver it to your email ID basically, right? So once you do that, click on create alert, and that's basically it. So every time something out there on the internet has mentioning your particular website, or even if something that you've created in terms of your content is being indexed on the search engine result pages, you will be getting a notification from Google itself. So therefore, you'll be staying on top of all the things that is happening out there in terms of your website. So that's how you create a simple Google alert and basically be on top of things when it comes to your website. All right. So with that, we have basically come to the end of session number 1 of HIIT SEO batch number 5. How are you guys feeling right now? How did you find session number 1 to be? Let me know in the chat box. Fantastic, says Avinash. Very, very good, says Dawood. What an enriching session, says Indrani. Interesting, says Radhika. Manish says overwhelmed, which is good. Don't worry about it. Sanjay says brilliant, very enlightening, says Rashi. Pretty informative, amazing, interesting. Boom, says Girish. Great, step by step. Mind freezing and blowing both. Okay, magnificent. Why has it already ended? We want more. You'll be getting a lot more in the next sessions. Don't worry about it. Mind blowing, positively overwhelming. That's good. Informative, awesome. Still digesting. Good, good, good. Flaunt you as my SEO mentor. Please go for it. I'm relearning, says Rohit. That's good. Most of all, easy to comprehend. Lots of information. Mind is overloaded, but I'm happy to learn things in a simplified way. Good stuff. Excited for the next session. Okay, good stuff. So, these are all the emotions that I was looking in terms of how you're feeling. Um, don't worry about it if this is the first time you have come across all of these things. Obviously, everything for most people, the everything that you'll be learning, you'll be learning for the first time, right? So as you progress in the sessions, right, what you'll be learning is that then you'll be able to understand all of these different things and why you're doing it and what you're doing and how you're doing. Okay, so you'll be able to like understand all of these things as we progress through the weeks. So I think we are off to a great start in terms of your SEO journey. So don't worry about it if you're feeling overwhelmed. So having said that, who's ready for your first assignment? Let me know in the chat box. Pretty simple. The assignment is going to be pretty simple. What you need to be doing is, first of all, update your name servers on GoDaddy. Basically connect it. I think I should mention it there. I'll send you an updated version of the PDF. You need to first update your name servers on GoDaddy. Once that is done, once the propagation is over, you will only then be able to access your backend of your WordPress website. Log into your backend WordPress website, for which I'll be giving you guys the username and password. After that, I'll be sending you the files for Astra Pro theme and the plugin. You need to install both and activate the pro version of it, and then install Sitekit by Google and connect Search Console and Analytics exactly like how I showed. And then you'll be like, you'll be getting your website indexed on Google Search Console exactly like how I showed you guys, so that Google knows that your website is now ready to be shown to the entire world, and set up a simple Google alert like I showed you guys for your website. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. I think I've shown you guys how to do most of these things. All you need to do is go out there and follow all these steps. Before that, what I want you to do right now, tonight, is sleep. Okay, just let all of this information brew in your mind. Right now you're feeling overwhelmed also because there's too much information. Let your brain process it, let it brew in your mind. You know how people say that you need to sleep over your problems, right? It actually makes a lot of sense, because when you are sleeping, your brain is actually processing all of this information. So don't worry about it at all. Go rest well, sleep well, let all of this information brew. Tomorrow morning, you'll be getting an email with everything that is there to be said and shared with you for this particular session, including this slide deck, the recording of the session. You'll be getting it for all the sessions. So don't keep asking it, okay? You'll be getting it for all the sessions. You'll be getting all the files that you require, your login URL, your username, password, everything I'll be sending you on a separate email. And then you guys can like get out and get your hands dirty and learn everything by doing, and learn it by practically implementing everything that you have learned. And that's going to be like an amazing journey for you guys. Great. Fantastic. I think a few other things. So the assignment deadline is 31st August, which is next Tuesday, 6 p.m. Please do yourself a favor and do not wait till 31st August, Tuesday, 5:55 p.m. to submit your assignments. Okay, please don't do that. What I'd recommend is, first, tonight you sleep, relax, right? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, try to do a little bit of your assignments every single day. Try to watch a little bit of this recorded session as much as you can. And Friday, use the Q&A session to clear any of your doubts that you might encounter while you're implementing all of these things that you just learned about, right? So do that. Otherwise, I've seen this many, many times. Most people will wait till Tuesday, 5:57 p.m. to go out there and like upload their assignments. So please don't do that. Speaking of uploading your assignments, I'll show you guys how it's going to look like. Your assignment sheet, you'll be given like an assignment sheet like this. Actually, one second. Let me open the submission form also. Yeah. Right. You will have a submission form like this. So all you need to do is click on start. So your name, Your student ID, you'll be given your student ID as well. And then your email ID, URL of a self-hosted WordPress blog, which is basically your domain name. And then you'll have a template for assignment one, which will look something like this, wherein you need to put in your name, email ID, and student ID here. And then have you installed the following things and plugins: Astra theme, Astra Pro plugin, Sitekit, yes, no. And you need to take a screenshot of the above mentioned plugins. You have all very clear instructions as to how you need to do this, and have you set up your Google Analytics account for your website. And just make sure you follow all of the instructions. Very clear instructions have been given here. Just follow the instructions on this particular sheet here. And once you get the sheet, what you need to be doing is click on File, make a copy. Okay, make a copy of this sheet and then fill in all of your information. Once you fill up that information, you can go ahead and like upload it here. And then, it'll ask you all of these things. You need to upload your task sheet here and then click on submit. Are we all clear? Pretty simple to do. And once you do that, you will be able to get your first 1,000 rupees of cash back into your bank account, right? And please note that all submissions, all the tasks should be submitted only via the submission form. Okay, assignments need to be completed and validated by the team. It needs to be complete. Okay, you don't miss out on one or two things in the whole assignment. If you do that, it will be rejected. Okay, I'm telling you right now. So don't send me emails with your sob story. It's not going to work. So I've heard it all before. I've seen it all before. So you make sure you follow all the instructions and complete your assignment and complete it before time, which is 31st August, 6 p.m. It would be really great if you can do it before that also. All decisions regarding rejection are final, and the reason for rejection will also be provided to you. But if you don't follow the instructions, which are pretty simple to follow, to be very honest, it will be rejected. Payments will be made within 7 working days of assignment assessment, or once you submit your assignment next Tuesday. From that Tuesday, 7 more days it will take for us to assess all of the assignments that you guys have given. And once all of that is complete, then you'll be getting your cash back. If you need anything in terms of your this session or any session in the future, always remember this link here, which also I'll be sending you as part of your email: sanjayshenoy.com/hs-b5-resources. All the information that you need from this particular batch, you'll be finding it here. Your slide deck, your Zoom recordings, your assignment submission form, your assignment sample form, all of these things you'll be finding it here. So anytime you want to go access it, go out there and find it here. So with that, we have come to the end of session number 1 of HIIT SEO batch number 5. Fantastic. I will be making sure I'll be answering your questions that you guys have put in. Virendra Vyas, I think I've already sent it to the support team, so they'll be taking care of it. Don't worry about it at all, okay? They might have actually responded to you also. How are name servers generated? So the name servers are generated from the hosting company, which your hosting company usually provides. I will be passing on that information for you guys. So name servers are usually generated by the hosting companies. What happens if we mess in the DNS process? Yeah, you will be able to rectify it. Don't worry about it at all. Okay. It's actually pretty simple to do since it's not part of this entire thing. I'll not be going into the installing WordPress on your own. You can just like Google it. It's actually pretty simple to do. If I change my hosting, does the theme get affected? No, not really. You can actually transfer your entire website to another hosting also if you want to. You don't need to install WordPress. Like I mentioned, WordPress has already been installed on WPX hosting, and you'll be getting all the information for your WordPress website on email by tomorrow morning. You'll be getting the themes, Anamika, as part of this whole thing. So you'll be getting the name servers for your hosting company, Radhika. In the future also, if you sign up for your hosting, you'll be getting your name servers in your email. So all you need to do is update it on your GoDaddy account. It's pretty simple. Don't worry about it. Just go with the Astra Pro theme. It's one of the best themes out there. Believe me when I say this, I've been using it and I can't say enough good things about it. You can use it for only one website, this license that you'll be getting. How Google algorithm impacts the ranking. So this whole crawling, indexing, ranking, RAU, and all of these things that we just spoke about is the Google algorithm, right? That is what the Google algorithm is all about. So we'll be learning more about what this algorithm constitutes of in session number 7 and 8. So don't worry about it. So all of these things that I just mentioned is the algorithm. Your periodic table is just for a reference. Don't go too deep into it and all that, Harshita. Don't worry about it. Just remember RAU for now. Astra Pro, anything that you're getting is only part, it's any plugin, any theme that you're getting as part of this program can be used on only one website. And I think I've mentioned this enough times. Is it compulsory to install the Sitekit plugin as an SEO expert? It's the easiest way to do it, regardless of whether you're an expert or not. You can go ahead and do it yourself. No, you won't be developing a full-fledged website. I mean, it'll be a fully functional website, so to speak. And once you do it, you'll realize that it's actually a full-fledged website, and you can do a bunch of different things. Harshita, I think I've answered this question already. Your Google Search Console data is specifically meant for your performance on search engines, whereas Google Analytics is user behavior data plus traffic sources from other sources, including search engine traffic. Yes, GSC data is only organic. This is little advanced, Jason. The answer is no to help you answer it. So yeah. Yes, you'll be getting lifetime access to all the recordings of this entire program. So don't worry about it at all. Um, let's not get into all of those things, okay? Just stick to SEO for now, WordPress, and more than enough. You can set up Google alerts for any website, not just, you can set up a Google alert for your name, for your brand name, for website, anything. Google alerts is not necessarily specifically meant for just websites as such. You can create an alert for anything for that matter. You'll know how to answer this in session number 8. Just focus on learning right now. So how much time it usually takes for a website to get significant amount of traffic. Okay, since you guys are going to become SEO professionals yourself, it's very important for me to let you guys know the most favorite word in the dictionary of SEO professional. Do you guys want to know what that word is? Just type in what in the chat box if you want to know what that word is. The most favorite word of most SEO professional. Depends. Okay, so that is the most favorite word that most SEO professionals use. Depends, right? So whenever somebody asks how much time it usually takes for a website to get significant amount of traffic, what do you guys say? Type it in the chat box. What do you guys say? Depends. Absolutely, because there are various factors. It's very difficult to like just say that, okay, I can do this in so much, blah blah blah, and all of those kind of things. You'll know what I mean by all of these things. Yes, yes, you can use different email for setting up GSC and analytics, and not necessarily the one that you've used to enroll for the course. Don't worry. You can use any email, right, guys, for GSC and Google Analytics. You can use any email. Can bounce rate have a bad effect on the website? And if yes, how? Again, stick to all the topics that we have discussed today. All of these things you'll be learning in like 4 and 5 session. Okay. You'll be getting the student IDs also, guys. Don't worry about it. Nothing. As long as you're able to change your name servers, you're good to go. No, you don't need to index each and every URL in GSC, like each post. I mean, it definitely helps if you can do it, but you don't need to do it. Oh, I don't know from what context you're telling this, Idrani, but a lot of people say that it can be vulnerable to attacks, but it has never happened to me. And I've like worked with many, many, many websites, but it's pretty safe to be very honest. So don't worry about it. We'll be helping you guys set up your SSL also. I'll be telling you what SSL is, so don't worry about it. Please, guys, please make sure you attend this week's Friday Q&A session hosted by Shreyas. He'll be helping you guys with your questions and a bunch of other things also. So make sure you attend this Friday's Q&A session. Consider it as a compulsory session that you guys need to attend. You'll be getting the entire slide deck itself. Don't worry. If you want to transfer the hosting, you can literally take the existing website and put it on another hosting. You won't even, the front end won't even see any kind of difference. The license for all of the plugins and themes is only valid for one domain and one website. Yes, Google recognizes and verifies website owner through Sidekick through the email ID, and since you are accessing it from from your dashboard, that's how it does it. You can install all the themes. It'll definitely impact the speed of your website because it's basically taking the space on your hosting, right? That's what it's doing. Guys, I'm ignoring questions which are not part of this session. Okay, and I'm intentionally doing it because I can answer those questions, but it's just unnecessarily going to confuse everyone else who are involved here. I know some of you know a little bit more about SEO compared to other people, but I'm not going to answer questions which are going to be answered in the future sessions. So I'm going to be like ignoring a bunch of them which are not relevant to this today's session. So I think it's fair enough for everyone involved. Just type in fair in the chat box if you believe it's fair. No problem. If somebody hasn't sent in your domain name, please send it. We'll set up the whole thing for you guys, and then we'll like take it from there. Arafat, just make sure you attend Friday session, wherein we'll be teaching you how to take backups. Okay. Astra is a theme, but you need a plugin to activate the pro version of the Astra theme. That's what it is. Yes, Mitra, don't worry about it. I'll be teaching you exactly how to write content also. You will be surprised to the level at which you can actually create content by the end of this program. Hosting will be provided for 3 months, and after that, you can either continue, we'll be giving you like a heavily discounted price, or you can transfer it to another hosting company as well. Plugins and themes will have lifetime access, hosting 3 months. Yes, you'll be able to migrate to A2 hosting post 3 months. Don't worry about it. You need to have some content, but the more content you have, the more chances you have to be more crawled and indexed and ranked. So once you actually set up your search console and analytics using Sidekit with a certain email ID, it'll automatically be connected. You can just log into their respective website and see all the data also if you want, Satish. Arindra, you don't have to customize. You can if you want to, but you don't have to. Yes, Sanjeev will be talking about how to secure your website also in the future sessions. Don't worry about it. Yes, I mean, you guys are like getting lifetime. Guys, don't worry too much about your plugins and themes and all of those things. Okay, you're here primarily to learn SEO. Okay, just focus on that. If you learn SEO properly, you can go ahead and buy all the themes and plugins you want by making enough money from this amazing skill. Does that make sense? Type in MS in the chat box if that makes sense. You can choose a niche in regional language as well. No problem. You'll be getting the recording of the Q&A as well. Don't worry about it. Every session that you'll be attending, there will be a recording and you'll have lifetime access to that recording. Astra Team is good for any website. Don't worry about it. No, you will not be getting access to the cPanel. So that's the only thing that you will not be getting. Yes, Sanjeev, if you want any kind of individual consultancy, just send me an email. I'll send you the payment link and you can like make the payment and like block out an hour if you want to. If you migrate your hosting, you'll obviously be getting access to cPanel. Raj, just go through the recording again because it's very difficult to just explain that aspect of it. Please go through the recording again. You'll definitely be able to understand it. All right, that's it with all the questions. I think I've answered all of your questions. And like I said, I did not intentionally answer some of the questions which are not relevant to this session. And let's just stick to the questions relevant to this session. Go out there, sleep for tonight. Tomorrow morning, you'll get the email with all the details. Go and try to do some of your assignment as much as possible before you come to the Friday Q&A session. If you have any questions, any trouble in terms of getting any doubts cleared, please make sure you attend the Friday Q&A session and Shreyas will be more than happy to help all of you guys out to clear all of your doubts and questions. Okay, thank you very much. I think we are off to a great start and I'll be looking forward to seeing you guys next Tuesday at 8 p.m. So make sure you guys are on time and make sure you attend live and we're going to be learning a lot of interesting things in the next session as well. So thank you so much for attending session 1 of HIIT SEO. Stay safe, stay healthy. Good night. I'll see you guys next Tuesday. Bye-bye.